Welcome back to Riding the Pine. This is our review of Game 30 of the 2020-21 Chicago Blackhawks season. Tonight, the Blackhawks imploded again after having a two-goal lead, losing, actually getting swept, and I don't believe they've gotten swept in quite a while, to the Florida Panthers by a score of 6-3. But before we get to the review, if you could do me a really big favor and hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Also, hit that notification bell so we will have to come to you and you won't have to come find us. You'll know exactly when we upload. YouTube will send out a notification, and it makes everything a lot better, especially with our erratic upload times the last few weeks here. So please hit that notification bell as well. Drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the game tonight, or the season, or whatever have you. Whatever thoughts you may have, please share them down below. We would more than love to interact with you down below. And with that, I'll throw it over to my co-host, Chai Sports fan Joe. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, hey Kyle. Yeah, kind of another tough pill to swallow tonight for the Hawks, and the fans too, including myself. I mean, it's hard to see when the leads that the Hawks seem to build and get uh, get off the get go, kind of seem to dissipate and not just dissipate, but dissipate in a hurry. And I know that's been an alarming concern. And obviously tonight the special teams, both power play and penalty kill, were I'd say a step above god awful. But it's hopefully, like I said, the it's hard when you're missing the players that the Hawks are missing, and to have to overcome those kinds of losses against these kinds of teams. It's a tall task to on order, and I think it's proven against these teams, in the games that the Hawks have played against both Tampa and Florida and even Carolina.
Yeah, I think it was Ben Pope that tweeted out, and this is something I wanted to touch on tonight, that since like February 9th, I think it was, the Hawks have had two-goal advantages in 9 games, and they've lost that two-goal advantage in 7 of them. And that's not a good trend, obviously. Um, and I think that's my takeaway from tonight was I was listening to the post game and they all said they thought they played a better game. And while I'll be up front, I missed the first period. I have to say I don't agree with that assessment. Now, sure, maybe they played better the first 2 periods, but that third period was awful. The effort wasn't there. That power play, all of them, they had what, 2 power plays in the third period. Um,
Yeah, no shots, I don't think.
Yeah, well, and then giving up the shorthanded goal, they were getting outskated, outworked. The board battles, they were losing those left and right. Uh, Again, at the faceoff circle, 62 to 39%. They just got killed there again. Um, just the work ethic in that third wasn't there. And then, when you look at that statistic of 7 out of 9 games that you've had a multiple goal lead and blown it, uh, that says work ethic issues, that you're getting lazy and you're taking the foot off the gas. And look, we've talked about, and I seen Joe tweet it out again tonight, that this team's missing $30 million worth of players, and it's hard for them to make up. You can't make up for that with their roster. So there's going to be games they lose, but there's a difference between losing and then how you lose. And when you look at, these games, and granted, one of the games out of that 7 was the clown show that was that Tampa game uh, a couple Sundays ago. And that's, that's fine. Those games are going to happen, but it's happening on a consistent basis. And that's concerning. And I think that goes towards coaching. And we've talked about Jeremy Colleton, and I still look, I saw a bunch of stuff today, I believe it was before the game, about Joe Quenneville being the top, not even Colleton wasn't even top three. It was Quenneville and then I believe Brendamore were the top two candidates right now for the Jack Adams Award. And I don't agree with that at all. I still think it's Colleton's to lose. However, he's getting close to losing it with the play of late because they just haven't had that urgency that's needed to win. And it's not necessarily just like it. They can lose. That's fine. It's just how they're losing.
And do you think, Kyle, is it more, I don't see any players either. Like, I mean, I know the cameras don't really pan to our bench because it's not, really our TV crew on away games. But do you see? I mean, I don't really see or hear any of the players like getting like fired up on the bench, or like, when it's kind of starts to go south. Do you see a guy slam his stick or something and like kind of getting guys' ears or faces to, you know, slow the bleeding, I guess, a little bit, or just calm everybody down and say, let's regroup, let's get, back out there, let's win a battle, let's get the goal back. I just haven't seen that this year. I don't know, maybe you have, but I haven't.
I think Duncan Keith is the only guy that does that, I guess, in a productive way. I mean, we were talking before uh, tonight during the game, there was an instance where Calvin DeHaan was elbowed in the face, and he did slam his helmet down in frustration. As Joe said, he's lucky he didn't get a penalty for that. Um, but I think there's a difference between that type of, you know, uh, outlash. What do you want to, outburst
Yeah.
versus sitting on the bench and yelling at your own guys. Let's, wake the fuck up. Let's go. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we, and back to the giving up the multiple goals. I mean, it's, it happens, it's quickly too. It's like 70 seconds,
Right.
3 minutes,
Right.
4 minutes, and the lead just evaporates. It's like as soon as the other team scores, the wheels
The
just
Hawks are on their yeah, the Hawks are on their heels, essentially.
right. And I don't know. I just Colleton's not a fiery guy. I understand that. But I think even tonight watching the post game, he was visibly pissed. Like you could tell he was pissed.
You're right. Yeah, I agree.
Specifically with the power play, I think.
And
Uh,
I think he even took a knock, at Duncan Keith, when he took the penalty that
yeah,
led.
he said it was a stupid penalty. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, he's not going to, which is good. I mean, I'm glad he's not shying away from, just giving the criticism to he's giving it to everybody and not just certain rookies, or and versus the veterans, etc.
Well, and I think too, like Nick had mentioned it, we talked about it briefly last game. I've seen a lot of people comment about it on social media, Twitter mainly, and I'm beginning to think there might be something to the fact that he has trouble. And again, he's a rookie coach basically, but making in-game adjustments doesn't seem to be his thing. And even when he does do something like tonight, there was what 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock when he pulled the goalie. I said immediately, I'm like, well, that's way too soon. They were only down a goal at that point, right? It was 4-3, and then what a minute and four left or so is when they finally put the puck in the net, and then obviously I think they got another one in the final seconds. But I, and again, I'm not shitting on Colleton. Like I'm not a fan of his. At least I haven't been until this last couple months. Um, he deserves credit though to have the team where they are, considering the amount of injuries they have, the amount of dead money they have. So I can't really blame him for that. But it just seems like there would be like a little thing here or there that would maybe not change the outcome of the game, but they'd be a little bit more competitive, I guess. And I guess that's my concern because I was defending them a couple games ago where people were, I think it was Ben Pope was talking about their competitiveness having disappeared. And for the most part, I thought they were competitive. I mean, is this don't have the skilled roster that these other top heavy teams do. But
Right.
tonight, at least the two periods that I saw, it just seemed like they played a halfway decent second. They got the two goals, had the 3-1 lead, and then like
Is it just playing not to lose in essence versus playing to win?
yeah, it's like they're afraid of these teams or something. Like they're giving them too much respect, if you will. Like like that. I don't know
Well,
if they
yeah,
don't
maybe just
believe in
scared to make a mistake maybe, and then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, then I make a mistake, okay, the puck's in the back of the net, now our lead's down to one, and now we're, and then again, that's kind of like maybe it just, everything, the floodgates kind of start to open. Everybody's, oh well, now we're on our heels, now we got to try to get it back, and if we don't, the game's going to be tied, and then it's like all the scenarios kind of come into play again. And I think that's the mindset's got to change where, okay, we give up a goal, but you got to say we're still in the lead, but play it as if it's tied, next goal wins, use that mentality to overcome these, kind of mistakes sometimes where the puck ends up in the back of your own net.
Well, yeah, and I think part of that, mental, I guess, angst, let's say, is the fact that you don't have all of these top six players. Like, when your offense is anemic and only DeBrincat and Kane seem to be able to put the puck in the net with any regularity, that's the thing. It's like, again, I don't want to. I like Kubalik played fine today, but he ain't scoring consistently, and he's never scored consistently. Like that's not a shocker in these two seasons. But when you don't have, you know, anybody else doing it other than Kane and DeBrincat, who are playing on the same line, like that's just it. Like when you're a one-line team, Joel Quenville, in this instance, can throw out his top defensive pairing since they're on home ice, and that line is neutralized. And then what do? Well, look who scored. I mean, Kane got the first goal, I know, but then it was Hagel and Kubalik, right? And then
Yeah.
uh Kurashev.
Yeah. Had the third. Hmm.
Yeah, and that was Yanmark again with his speed and creating plays, but like, that's a mistake on their end. But when you like, you can't again, the guys that scored tonight, Hagel was his third goal, and Kurashev, a rookie, was his seventh. Those are not scorers. Forsling got a goal tonight, his first. But let's talk like the goal scorers for uh, Florida. Tippett, his fourth. Ekblad, his 10th. Barkov, his 12th. Verhage, his 11th. Wenberg, his 6th. They have a much more balanced offense there, right? Ekblad 10 goals, Barkov 12, Verhage 11, Wenberg 6, and then Tippett with his fourth.
Well, yeah. And Tippett's was just, that's puck luck to me,
Yeah.
but you know, whatever.
Oh, yeah. And Ben Pope was not having a good night on Twitter tonight. Literally every tweet he said aged horrifically. Uh, I think he was trying to do like a clap back at Gustav Forsling just because it's Gustav Forsling. Gustav Forsling had what, a goal and an assist tonight? Yeah, 2 points plus one.
What was he
Like,
saying about Forsling? I didn't see it.
and Forsling played 21. He had the second most ice time of their defense at 21:51, including 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the penalty kill. Um, so he had said that was it Hagel? Yeah, that Hagel was embarrassing Forsling um, in the series. That the goal from Saturday, where Kubalik threw it between Forsling's legs, and then Hagel threw it in the back of the net, and then tonight on Hagel's goal, he had boxed Forsling out right around the crease area to get that kind of garbage goal. And then I think Hagel had drew a penalty on Forsling in the first,
Okay.
but it was like I read that tweet and I almost commented on it, but I held out. And then literally about 3 minutes after I had the thought to comment on it, Forsling scores. And I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, dude, what game are you watching? I'm like, sure, you know, like you could even call like the puck luck on the goal from Saturday where Kubalik's pass just happened to go through his legs because Hagel didn't even see it. Like I think he said during the post game on Saturday, he's like, "Yeah, I didn't even see it." And so I was, it was all of a sudden it was on my stick, and I just threw it into the net with as much force as I could. But I wasn't expecting the pass because I didn't see it. So you can kind of claim the luck there. Okay, so he took a penalty. Okay, players do that all the time. And then I don't know. I guess he was trying to say because he got boxed out by Hagel that I don't know. He like got lost in coverage or something. That goal somehow was his fault. It's like, dude, this is a kid that literally was cut. I think by somebody. I don't know if it was Carolina or New York or somebody, but I'm pretty sure he was a waiver wire pickup this season, and he literally played more minutes than almost all of their defensemen tonight. He's literally turning into a top four defenseman for them. So like I don't know what kind of shot you think you're taking there, but it's not a very good one. Um and then like he had said in the second period that like the Panthers were dominating, and then like 3 minutes later the Hawks were up 3-1. Like everything he sent tonight, like in a way, I felt bad for him because it's like you have to have some bad luck for everything that you tweet to go horrifically like bad on you. But yeah, he's been kind of a dick lately, so I didn't feel too bad about it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, again, so like we've touched on the goal scorers, Kurashev getting his seventh. I thought Yanmark played well again. Hagel. So I wanted to bring this up about Hagel. I asked Joe about it before we went live here. Um, I think I think they even kind of alluded to it on the post game about power changes to the power play, and especially considering how miffed Colleton was, that you'd probably expect something. And to me, I want to see Hagel switch with Carpenter on the first power play unit. I think just with his like when you're and the reason it's not necessarily that he's scoring or that it's not production based as to why I'm putting him there. It's more when you were looking at that power play getting their asses handed to them by Florida in that third period, and the work ethic is a problem. That's to me where it's like, well, Hagel's your workhorse at least the last month or so. So throw him out there. Like if he's that's one of those, again, back to coaching. Like it's just one of those like adjustments where if somebody's not I'm not suggesting that we go John Tortorella where we bench our star players for half the game or 3/4 of a game. But like if you see as a player is struggling or whatever, and someone else like is playing their ass off or their mind out, make a switch. Like, and that's the thing with hockey too. Sometimes pucks just find guys. And that seems to be happening with Hagel pretty much every game.
Yeah, no, I mean and then especially like if the Hawks are going to do this, on the power play where you're going to dump and chase. I like Hagel to, try to get behind the defense and, get into the corners and win a board battle to get the puck back and, set it up to Brinkett or Kane or Keith or whoever's on the point, to kind of get our power play, set up.
Well, and they even said, I think, in the post game about just saying fuck the second unit and just put everything on the top unit. So Kubalik, DeBrincat, Kane, and then like Hagel with Boquist or Keith. I don't know what your thoughts are there. I assume that's what they were
To
alluding
like, yeah, in
to.
essence, go nuclear on their
Yeah,
first unit.
yeah.
So,
But
I
see,
mean, you could
that's the
try. I mean, I
problem
guess
with.
it's,
Yeah,
oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh no, I meant sorry. Maybe yeah, to have to go nuclear with that, I would have that be an option. But it's like how I mean, on a shift you're only getting what 30 seconds to a minute at most. But I don't know. It's like you want to throw all your eggs in one basket, for just really one opportunity to score. But I guess if the power play is not producing, desperate times would call for desperate measures. So.
Well, I feel like
Um,
my issue with that is now that I thought about it, it's they're all finishers. I mean, maybe you can say Kane is a little bit more of a playmaker, but DeBrincat and Kubalik are finishers, and I don't think you want Kane playing playmaker. Like that doesn't seem to be his kind of motif. He can do it, yeah, but I don't know if that's what I want him doing. And the other aspect of that is too, when you throw Kubalik out there, I guess I wasn't paying it. I think they had Keith out there with Kubalik, which makes sense because I don't think you would want Kubalik and Boquist on the same power play unit. And the reason I say that is because Kubalik sucks defensively.
Yeah, well, right. If something goes awry,
Yeah, and then I mean, let's be real. I know Boquist had a good game the other night, but still, defensively, he's probably your weakest defenseman. So that's just like asking for trouble. I feel like if you've got both of them on the ice at the same time against a top team, let's say. And somebody else had mentioned too that they thought Bodan did better on the power play than Boquist, and I kind of agree with that. Um, and again, like I feel like we're nitpicking stuff because they just don't have the talent throughout the roster that they need to play these bigger, better teams. So everything else gets magnified.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And again, and I think that's what like I said, maybe coming on, Hawks fans are frustrated, and I'm sure the players are frustrated. But again, against these top tier teams, with the guys that we have out, you're just not going to make up for those kinds of losses. You just can't do it. The Hawks just don't have the depth nor the talent to make those kinds of losses up. And like I said, it's all about and I know it's everybody says, well, it's next man up mentality. Yeah, that's true, but you know, you're not going to have the same talent levels of a Taves and a Doc in of Kurashev right now, and you know whoever you want to use that's on the team right
Hagel.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hagel.
Well, I
Um,
mean, Rockford's really getting hurt because there's a lot of guys there that would have been in the ECHL in a normal year.
right.
But yeah, like, it's next man up, but they're like next man, next man, next man up right now.
Right.
Like
So
almost all of their top six is out. And, if you throw Nylander in there, then yeah, that's like really bad. And then just gel time. Like, Saad was in their top six last season and he's gone. So I don't know. It's like I was thinking about that too. So Mark Potash put out a tweet that the Hawks are 1-4, or maybe 1-4-1, something along those lines against Joel Quenneville since they fired him. And it's like, uh, yeah, but the Hawks are missing $30 million right now of a roster, so the record's not really a thing. And then somebody's like, yeah, Q had this team playing better and he would have them playing better and all this stuff. And I'm like, yet there's like 4 players on this roster out of 20 that played for Q. 4. Keith, Murphy, Kane, and Camp. That's it. And then like I sat there and I thought about that for a minute and I'm like, Jesus. In 3 years, literally this whole team has turned over. Like when you sit back and you think about that, how many teams fire a coach and then within 3 years, literally, like they have 17 new players. Like that's insane. It really
yeah,
speaks, I think, to what Bowman has done with the roster in a lot of ways to change it and to put the youth into the lineup. I mean, now sure, when Taves comes back, if he comes back, that'll be 5 players, but he's not playing right now. So, I mean,
and you wonder if Taves is even going to come back.
yeah, like I said, I don't know if he's going to. And I don't know, man. Like there's something to having a team identity. And I don't know if they have that right now. And part of that is just like what I'm saying. Like 4 players are all that's left from 3 years ago. 2 of them defensemen. Another's a bottom 6 forward. Or DeBrinket. Did I say DeBrinket? DeBrinket
No.
played, I think, half a season with Q, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Or maybe a year. His first
Something
year, I guess.
something along those lines. Yeah.
So that's Kane, DeBrinket, Murphy, Keith, and Camp. So 5 guys. Excuse me, not 4, 5. But yeah, I just that's like crazy.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, the camaraderie and stuff, when you have that level of a turnover, I think that might be part of, what this team needs to do. It just needs some time and familiarity, and creating a new identity that they just don't have yet. And that speaks to kind of the losing by multiple goals as well. Um, so yeah, this is not Joe Quenneville's Chicago Blackhawks anymore. Like I don't know, people like, and that's the other thing. It's time to move on. Q's not here. He's moved on. We need to move on too. That's like I got into it with several people, and I knew it was going to be controversial the minute I tweeted it. But like, it's time to move on from Corey Crawford, folks. I'm going to move with Lincoln in here and what he did tonight. But seriously, it's time to move on from Crawford. And this is something we've talked about before. And you guys need to like, I know you love your Blackhawks, and that's awesome that you have players that you like and love. But you also have to like be realistic because, for Blackhawks fans that all these years who just came out of nowhere and, weren't around like Joe and I, as Joe says in his Twitter bio, before it was cool to be a Blackhawks fan. The Hawks were bad. And we've seen a lot of stuff that a lot of new fans haven't. And when those new fans are going on Twitter and running their mouths about stuff that they don't know what they're talking about, it looks bad on the whole fan base. You can't sit and go, Corey Crawford is one of the best goaltenders ever. He isn't. I'm sorry, but he isn't. He was an above average goalie on a really, really good team, a dynasty team in a salary cap era. But you got to let it go when someone says other goalies are better than him. Like someone the other day even said something about Marc-Andre Fleury. There's no comparison. Marc-Andre Fleury has 3 cups and has like triple the amount of wins that Crawford only has like 261 wins. It took him almost 10 years to get to the NHL. Like this whole thing, and like everybody wants to retire his number 2. Why? Because he won 2 cups? Like that's not why you retire numbers. You like I see all this stuff. It's like, well, we want to retire Host's number. We want to retire Crawford's. And it's like, you can't do that because then it becomes a joke. You don't just retire numbers because a player played well for like 10 years. They have to be elite players or they have to like mean something to the organization. Like Chris Chelios arguably was one of the most important players for 10 years of the Blackhawks. His jersey's not retired, and Brent Seabrook came along and took his number. Now, there's conversation because of what Brent Seabrook did. Maybe you retire 7 for both Chelios and Seabrook, but Chelios alone doesn't get his jersey retired. Jeremy Roenick. You look at you can't just sit there and go, oh, well, because this guy was on the Hawks when they were good, his jersey should be retired.
Well, no one that really is Steve Larmer.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to throw shade at Crawford. I'm not. But you have to be real when you start talking about stuff. And Kevin Lankinen, look, it took Kevin Lankinen half the time that it did Crawford to get to the NHL. And numbers wise, they're almost identical right now. Like entering the night, I think Lankinen's save percentage was a 917 or 922 or something like that, which is basically what Crawford was for his career. So you can't again, and Crawford that's the other thing. The defense that was in front of him was one of the best defenses ever. Like in the last maybe even 40 years. Like since the 80s. Definitely the last 30 probably. For sure the last 20. So you just got to keep in mind when you're arguing about Hall of Fame players and like guys that are like elite level, like again, and has Marc-Andre Fleury always been great? No. He's had bad seasons. But he's 36. He's the same age as Crawford. He's got an extra cup. He's taken 2 teams to the finals. And I think he's like 5th or 6th in wins.
Some of his teams too, though, where he had good defensive teams on the Penguins to bail him out sometimes.
I don't think the Penguins' defense was ever as good as Chicago's.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that was they good, but I'm just saying where Fleury's defensive.
I mean, yeah, you can argue that, but dude, like again, he's done it with 2 teams now, and one of them was an expansion team. He's taken 2 teams to the finals. One being an expansion team,
and one, yeah, and I still think though Vegas, like when they did that expansion draft, they robbed everybody because I think it was so hard to protect the player. And I credit them for doing it, but it's like they built. I mean, that team. When I saw the players that they took, I even said it. I think I was talking to my dad about it. I said that team can win a cup. or at least get there. And I was right, because I said, like, to take the players that they did, I was like, George McPhee, like, did a phenomenal job picking that team. So I credit him and his staff for doing it, because I was like, they are just robbing teams blind at this point. Well, I mean,
See,
not that
I don't agree with that. Like I'm
I
looking
don't
at
know,
who they picked.
like Marchessault,
I mean, yeah,
you know,
he's
Fleury.
yeah.
They got a lot of, like, like, a lot of good star players that just, either teams just couldn't, couldn't protect because they had to protect other ones. But it was like, kind of like, star players that just weren't able to be protected, Vegas snatched and built. Of, like, almost like a, not to say it was a super team, but it was all stars on teams that just took it to the next level when they were all together.
I mean, I'm only seeing 3 stars on here, man. So this is who they picked. Calvin Pickard, Lucas Spiza, Timu Polkinainen, John Merrill, William Carrier, Cody Eakin,
Well, Eakin, I mean, I thought he was pretty good when they took
Thomas
him.
Nozick, Marchessault,
Yeah,
Braid McNabb, Connor Brickley, Chris Thorburn, Pierre Edouard Belmer,
yeah, Belmont. I mean, I thought he was pretty good.
Jason Garrison, J.F. Berube, James Neal. That's one of their big
Yeah,
players.
right.
England, Brandon Lipsick, Colin Miller, Mark Mathot, David Schlemko. David Schlemko was playing in the CHL several years before. David Perron, who St. Louis
Right. Yeah.
like
That
got rid of like 3 times.
yeah. So,
Oscar Lindberg, Griffin Reinhart, Clayton Stoner, Eric Holla.
yeah, Howla, I thought, was another one.
Yeah, but he was like a fourth liner in Minnesota.
But I know, but it's still like, whenever he played, as, like, I felt like, especially the Hawks, he was always, not to say he was a big player, but he was a
Yeah, I mean
nuisance.
he was
Yeah.
a really good bottom 6 player, but
Yeah.
he became a star when he went to Vegas.
Right. Right.
William
So,
Carlson's another one,
yeah.
like fourth
Also,
line guy. Trevor Van Riemsdyk from us. And then obviously Nate Schmidt was a big one from the Capitals. And then Marc Andre Fleury obviously was probably their
from
biggest.
that's why I said. So, I mean, they found a lot of good players, and that's why I said, credit, George McPhee for really building that team.
Right.
So,
I guess I'm just saying, like, a lot of people argue that, like, um, they got like all these star players, and it's like, yeah, but they weren't stars before, like when they drafted them, right? Like Flurry, yes. Uh, uh, Neil, yes. Who is the other one? Eakin,
Carlson.
maybe, but
Yeah.
Marshall Sill for sure.
Yeah.
So like 3 of them are really big stars out of the 30 guys. And I think they made a trade because I think they got Riley Smith in a trade. Yeah.
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 Well, then they made trades, and just, I mean, like, really, ever since they came into the league, they've been a great team. So, and I mean, granted, it's only what, they're 3 or 4 years old, but
Right. But I guess I'm just saying, like, for back to Flurry, like, he's still, that was like, and because they didn't have, um, like these guys they have now, like Stone, Pacioretty, uh, trying to think of who else they had that they traded and moved on from. They had, I think they acquired Tatar for half a season,
yeah.
was it?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's who they sent to Montreal, I believe, for Pacioretty. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that's like a huge star-studded lineup that he basically carried because he didn't have a backup either. I mean, his backup was Malcolm Subban and Garrett Sparks, and then somebody else. But yeah, and like I don't know, just like I'm pretty sure he's like fifth or sixth all time on the goalie wins list. I mean, the guy's been playing since he was like 19, I think, 18, 19. I think it was 19 because they took him. Uh, was he a first overall pick? So
Oh,
he was
what?
19 and so he has 480 wins. Crawford has like 261 and they're the same age. And Crawford's retired. Uh, has Fleury ever won a Vezina? No. So he's never won a Vezina, but I don't believe Crawford did either. So, that's like, I think a lot of people shit on Marc Andre Fleury because, for a while, Pittsburgh was kind of terrible. They didn't get good again until the Hawks were starting to get bad again for that little lull. Um, but yeah, like, and he's probably going to win. He could win the Vezina this year the way he's been playing at 36. So long story on that is like, don't, just because you like a player, don't overvalue him. That's, I guess, the point of my rant. Same thing with saying DeBrinket's better than Panarin. Like that he's not, just isn't. Anyway, going back to Lincoln, and interestingly, so like I seen Sean over at the Hockey Writers talk about Lankinen need to be better with rebound control, which is what Subban has been known to have problems with. And I don't think Lankinen's I think he's making that comment about the rebounds because of the shorty in the third where the puck was laying next to his pad and Boquist couldn't get it cleared. Look, Lankinen stopped 23 out of 24 shots at even strength tonight. Only one goal out of their 6 was at even strength. I don't know what more you can want from your goaltender. Like I
Right.
don't I don't understand where this is coming from crapping on Lincoln. And so they had 4 goals that weren't empty net. One of them or two of them uh were on the power play. One of them, there were 4 guys in front of Lincoln, and including Zadorov. Like even on the replay, you look at it, there's like no way that he's going to see the shot. There's no way. And that was Forsling's goal. And then I guess actually that was the one goal that wasn't on the power play that they had. And then you had the weird deflection in the first period to tie the game at 1. That was on the power play. The shorty, like that was momentum and the Hawks getting outworked and stuff just going bad. Like I don't throw that on Lankinen. He made the initial stop. And he made a really good shot before that one. I don't even remember who it was. It on Uyghur. So
Yeah, I think it was on weaker.
like I don't know. Like if my goalie stops all but one shot on at even strength, and we scored 3 goals, that's a game we should probably win because at most you only want to give up 1 goal on the PK. So that's the game. I mean, and they talked about it on the post game show. The special teams was the loss tonight. You didn't score on the power play, and they scored on 2 out of their 3. So it is what it is, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't.
You
I
know,
don't. I mean, do you think Lankinen played bad tonight?
no, no, I didn't know because, like I said, you take away the 2 empty netters, it's a 4-3 game. So, um, he kept this and he made some good saves. It didn't happen tonight. His defense really let him down. I mean, he made the huge save on Ekblad that really kept the game close.
Yeah,
I think
that's right. I didn't even mention that. Well, and that's
so.
what spurned. That's why I tweeted Lankinen's better than Crawford. And like, you can't tell me right now that if Corey Crawford was this team's starting goaltender, that they're in a better spot than they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't, yeah, is Corey a difference maker? I mean, I think the Hawks have, maybe around the same record that they do now. I don't know. I don't. It all
I
depends.
think not the best move Bowman has made in probably the last 2 years, maybe three, is not re-signing Crawford.
I mean, I think I just would have liked to have seen maybe one more year out of him. Um, but especially I think the way he played, in the Vegas series. Um, but I don't. It is what it is. Bowman made the decision, so I mean, I'm riding with Lincoln and now. So I mean, not that I'm disappointed. So, but I think just maybe have one more year to give those guys a little bit more development, and maybe could have gone with like a Crawford Subban
Yeah, but
or.
dude, Lankinen's like 26 years old.
Oh, is he that? I didn't know he
Yeah.
was that old. But I
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, was because if let's say he would have signed Crawford, do you go would it have been
That's probably
Craw-
Subban.
would it have been Crawford and Subban or Crawford and Lincoln? And
I think it's Crawford and Subban. I don't even think Lankinen sees light of day. Lankinen would have been down in Rockford with Delia. They'd
okay,
already kept Subban, right? I think they signed him and Kubalik at the same time. And then Crawford basically screwed himself, from my recollection. He- Like, Crawford wanted like an extra. I talked about this with Josh. Even if you look, like, just based off of what he signed for in New Jersey, which I think was like 3.6 mil or something like that. And I think Bowman had offered him 3 for a year. And Crawford wanted more money and he wanted the extra year. And Bowman thankfully said no thanks and moved on. But, you know, like, at the end of the day, like, I think that says a lot about Crawford in general. I think that's a negative. You like, and I think he realized when he got to New Jersey it wasn't the same, and New Jersey wasn't going to be a good team either. So, like, you leave the only team you played your whole career with, won championships with, at the end of the day after taxes for like 200K. Like, I mean,
right,
and
I think it was like
that's,
four. Was it like 400K or whatever? I mean, not that it's a big deal, but
yeah, well, and that's like I told Josh, it's like, dude, you're in Chicago. They can make you that in endorsements. Like, they'll get you on Howard Aiken's Law, like Alex DeBrinket is every goddamn commercial break.
yeah, right, right.
Or, Crawford's big with cars and stuff. Get him to do the Chevy stuff. I'm tired of seeing, and that's like, dude, I guess maybe for a more lighter note, I have to tell you, every time I see the Chevrolet commercials, drive what Kane and Taves drive, it's like, these two guys aren't driving fucking Chevys. Give me a break. Nobody's
Right,
that stupid.
exactly. Well, and I'm sure they probably just sold them the cars, but yeah, they probably don't drive them, or they probably gave them away to charity or whatever. So,
Oh, I don't even. Yeah, well, I was thinking they probably just gave them to them, and then maybe, or because, well, I mean, they used to every year before this year give like a Blackhawk styled Camaro away.
yeah, I know. I always tried to win the thing, but I never won.
Yeah,
I love
every time I hear that, I just start laughing. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure Patrick Kane's going around in his Chevy Tahoe
right. But
or an
Lord
Equinox, however
knows
you
they
want to
probably
say it.
don't even, especially Kane living in Chicago. He probably doesn't even have a car. He probably gets driven everywhere. So,
Well, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either.
but anyway,
But yeah, well, and that's the other thing with Crawford too. Like, he just had a kid, or has he got two now? I know he's had one.
I know. Yeah, he had he had one. Excuse me. I don't think he's had two yet, but I know he's
Well,
got.
and then he just got married too. He finally, look, guys can do what they want. but this goes to Kane too. Like, I don't know what it is about getting your girlfriend knocked up and like before getting married. If I had done that, especially in that position that you're in, like as a Jesus,
Well, but
as,
see, you got the money to be able to do it. That's why.
yeah, I
So
guess, but
if they break up, it's like you just okay, just give me a couple million, five, whatever the case may be. Forever the way shall meet. We go, we go. I
well,
go my way with the kid. You go yours, and that's why they could do it
oh,
because
maybe
they got the money.
maybe they learned from Duncan Keith's divorce.
Right. So I
I
was
know
gonna say
that
that.
that was a pretty I don't know. I know she got a lot. I don't know. I don't think she cleaned him out, but
Well, or Jeff Bezos's ex-wife. We can go there
yeah,
too.
well, yeah, that mean yeah, that's a joke. What
Right.
like she gets a divorce and she becomes like what the like 10th richest person on the planet.
Right. Right. Not a bad way to go out. So
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty pathetic. But anyway,
so
this is Days of Our Lives here
yeah.
on Riding the Pine,
Yeah.
or As the World Turns. I don't even know if that's still on.
Mhm. Yeah.
For those of you who those younger youngins listening, these are old soap operas that we used to watch when we stayed home and played hooky from school. And that was what was on daytime TV before the cartoons came on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. That used to be the shit.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But
But as far as for the game Thursday in Tampa, do you go with Lincoln and again, or do you go to Subban this time?
uh hmm,
I mean, I
I,
feel like now that Lincoln and got both games, I think you start the Tampa game with Subban.
yeah, and because Subban got a victory over them too, so maybe you start on Thursday with Subban. And then even if he wins, maybe you go back to him Saturday. But I don't know. Like honestly, the goaltending I feel like some a kind of a moot issue because I don't think Subban, other than maybe that last game he had against was it Dallas?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Other than that game, he's been fine. Like I don't think he's had a horrible game other than that one. He was okay. The game against Tampa that he won, he had some bad rebounds that game too. Lankinen, like I said, I don't have any problems with the way Lankinen's played. So like the issue, the goaltending isn't really the issue. And I don't really think defense is the issue either. Adam Boquist was a -2. He was the only guy that was a minus on the defense tonight. Duncan Keith was +2. Everybody else was even. Like, I don't think defense is really a problem. It's the offense. It's puck possession. It's winning faceoffs. It's the power play, uh, and the penalty kill. I don't know. The penalty kill is weird because it'll be really good and then it's like horrifically bad.
Right. Right. It kind of goes in spurts.
Yeah, and it's like it's not in the middle. It's like one or the other. It's either
Right.
really bad or excellent. I don't know if that's luck the nights that it's excellent that the other team just doesn't score, but I don't know.
But,
And obviously going against Tampa Bay,
right.
that's going to be definitely a issue of contention because if your PK is that bad again, you can forget winning those games.
Exactly.
But that'll wrap up our review of the game. Other than goaltending, do you think they make any other kind of lineup changes for Thursday?
No, I don't see it. Maybe as far as I don't know. Do you think at one point they might bring back Bodan again,
I think he's with him. He's just
or is he up again? Okay.
yeah, I think
So, or does he play, I guess, or is he just kind of a permanent member of the taxi squad?
because I think their taxi squad's like all defensemen other than Johnson or Peary, because Johnson's on the active roster, I believe.
Okay.
Let me look. But I think even Kalinuk is with them. Let's see here. Do. That's taxi squad. Taxi squad is Kalinuk, Carlson, Peary, and Bowie. So Bodan is on the active roster, so he can play.
Okay.
And Johnson's also on the active roster, which I thought they would do because, like, we talked about before, when everybody was upset about Bodan and my eyes, Kalinuk, but mostly Bodan not playing. It's like they couldn't play him. He was in Rockford and they were on the road. If he's not on the taxi squad, they can't have, you can't put him on a plane,
Right.
and you don't want him to drive 12 hours or, more to wherever you are. So, yeah. I guess my response, like, who do you take out if you put Bodan in? Mitchell?
No, I wouldn't want to take out Mitchell, but yeah, yeah, I know. It's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I mean, I guess just to try to change things up on the defensive end, maybe a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe you just go with the same crew.
You know what's weird? Now that you mentioned that, it seems like they played better without Murphy in the lineup. Like they were winning more consistently. They had Bodan and Carlson in the lineup, and Murphy was out. And then somebody else had to be out, or maybe they were rolling with seven. Yeah, they were rolling with seven defensemen, I think. Maybe you do that. Maybe you take Walmart out and you put Bodan in.
Right. So,
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe you know what? Maybe they do that. So they're a little bit. Maybe they play a seventh defenseman and they get rid of Walmart. They take Walmart out of the lineup.
out of the lineup, yeah.
To me, you could take Walmart and Highmore out of the lineup and you wouldn't notice. But um, I don't know. I mean, just looking at the roster, man, of forwards, it's like Walmart, Camp, Hagel, Highmore, Soderberg, Suter, Kurashev, Carpenter, Yan. It's like all these guys are like bottom six players on any like decent team, if that. But yeah. So anyway, that'll wrap this up. Again, Hawks fall to Florida. They get swept in the series down in South Beach. They lose 6-3 tonight, dropping their overall record to 14, 11, and 5 on the season. Tough stretch coming up here. The next four against Tampa and these same Florida Panthers. Next game, as we've been alluding to, is this Thursday against the Tampa Bay Lightning down in Tampa, I believe. So uh, we will catch you all on Friday morning, hopefully, for the review of that game. And until then, everybody, stay safe, take care of one another, get your vaccine if you're in line. Or, I haven't said this either, but check with your local pharmacies as well and hospitals or wherever you can, the COVID vaccines are being distributed. Because for the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, they are time constrained. So if they cannot get those into arms of people based on age or you know uh, profession, they can give those to general people in the population. So always, if you're wanting a vaccine and you're, me and Joe's age, and you're not an essential worker, just call up your pharmacy, and they might be able to get you an extra shot that they have left over that might expire if they don't use it. So, yeah, check in on that. And then also keep wearing your masks. Pretty soon, we're not going to have to wear them anymore. We've worn them for a year now. We're almost done, almost out of the neck of the woods. So, again, uh, we know you didn't enjoy the outcome tonight, but we hope you have a good evening, or I guess morning when you're listening to this on Tuesday, a good rest of your work week as we head into Friday morning with our next review. And until then, let's go Hawks.
Yeah, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate all the listeners. And, again, if you have anything that you'd like to add, please do comment on the channel. And, you know, um, opinions, positive or negative, are always welcome. So let us know your thoughts. And yeah, until Friday or Thursday night or Friday morning, hopefully the Hawks can get back on the winning track Thursday in Tampa Bay.
Yep. And yeah, it'd be nice to get a real big win. And I think a win against Tampa would do that. Be nice to
Yep.
start feeling a little bit better about ourselves. But yeah, thanks again, everybody.